Randomness in video games can be fun sometimes. Adding a little spice to your matches, that little taste of unpredictable scenarios, and having to adapt to dynamic environment. But this randomness factor stops being fun when peeking around the corner can end up with a nice arrow stuck between your eyes. Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode where we will discover why just 3 simple sticks and 3 pieces of string are a recipe for a complete disaster. Hanzo has been in the game since Symmetra had aimbot, and his primary gameplay loop has not been touched. The bow and arrow gameplay is very original and has never been done before by any video game, but Hanzo still manages to make it feel different. It's up to the RNG gods to decide in each match if I will be landing headshots left and right or being more useless than a fish in the desert. Having the privilege of getting one of the most quality and entertaining animations and also shattering the entire rule set of the established Overwatch universe. Are the dragons magic, or are they just very advanced technology that we just don't understand yet? And the fact that the players are to this day left only guessing if it's the first one or the second option makes me wonder how much more outrageous and over-the-line designs we will have to deal with in the future. But it's not only the magical creatures he can summon, no, because apparently over 40% of people who voted for him fell for his nipple hypnosis trick. And you know what? I don't blame you. Welcome to the Hanzo Review! Getting into this episode, I was excited and ready to dive deeper into the lore side of things about Hanzo, because of obvious reasons. What I found instead is pure disappointment, and honestly straight away I'm taking away some points for how bad the story side of Hanzo is. Let me explain. This character has been in the game since the beginning and has been blessed with one of the deepest cinematics out of all heroes in the game. And apparently Blizzard thought that is 100% enough for this character. I kid you not. Everything that you can find about Hanzo on the wiki is only the cinematic translated into the boring letters and a small forced section about Kiriko because she had to fit somewhere. As it turns out, Hanzo was trained alongside Genji and Kiriko because Kiriko's mom. And why was he trained is because his father was the biggest soul candy dealer in the neighborhood and wanted to pass on the boss status onto his eldest son. What Hanzo did not know is that he was the only one who was supposed to get anything and Genji was supposed to be thrown on the streets and abandoned. When Hanzo found out, he didn't like that, so he wanted to share the empire with his brother. But Big Daddy Shimada said no, so naturally Hanzo killed his brother on the spot. And get this, he regrets it instantly. Who would have guessed? So, with the tragic loss of his brother, he was also punished for this and got thrown out of his rich family. And now the bad dudes rule over the Hanamura fortress that Hanzo breaks into annually to honor the death of his brother. How kind of him. Even though Genji died, he lived and turned up to the temple in just the right moment to catch Hanzo on his knees doing the deed, praying. What else was Hanzo supposed to do there, huh? Anyways, good time to mention that Hanzo is only capable of wielding a bow, because he swore to never use a sword again. It doesn't matter that he basically swords with his bow. Of course not, nobody tell him. As you can see, a fight breaks out, Hanzo being so sassy, saying that Genji is not the first assassin sent out to kill him, and he wouldn't be the last. And, well...
Do it then. Kill me.
So Hanzo, in the last-ditch effort, spawns 2 glowing, not magical, dragons, you know, as you do. And Genji does the Hakuna Matata Uno reverse card and sends out the Triple D experience straight back at him. He died, but he lived. And so, the 2 brothers finally get to talk normally, and Genji basically roasts him left and right and vanishes in a smoke cloud. You know, as you do. Hanzo is in Tokyo when the null sector attacks occur. The end. As you can see, there is no explanations. Blizzard just gave up and don't even try to explain fulfilling someone's magical fantasy of becoming an anime character in a first-person shooter, and it's just disappointing. In short, Hanzo was born in a rich but very corrupt and criminal family. Daddy wanted to pass everything onto Hanzo, but because he loved his brother so much, he killed him. And then dragons! I'm just in pure disbelief. How did they make things even worse with the Kiriko being able to teleport? Hanzo's design is just a dude with an edgy hairstyle and a bow. Oliver Tree would be really disappointed because there is nothing out of ordinary about him. I can't even describe one certain theme in him because the Overwatch 1 skin is mixing the traditional martial style of loose clothing and tattoos with very advanced knee pads out of nowhere. The second default skin gives up entirely on trying to make him look like a warrior and just goes full on parkour in town mode. So if the character design is so boring, what about his weapons? The bow is yet another weapon that gets repetitive very quickly with only one animation playing for your shooting action that is replacing the arrows like Sisyphus. Will he ever run out? Find out in the next episode of Hero Review. Frankly speaking, the bows are very nicely done. They don't look like the traditional boring wooden string, and they are not over the top 10 attachments maxed out sports bow that real life athletes use. It's the perfect balance between the two with additional aesthetics here and there. The abilities like Sonic Arrow are also a perfect fit for this character, as arrows with some bunkers attachments are pretty common now in films or in media. And of course, the ultimate ability that is still this day the most visually cluttering and out of place abomination that are the twin dragons. They look cool with their satisfying swirly animation, but as I said, there are in my opinion too visually overwhelming, especially considering this ult is most oftentimes used in team fights. Maybe making it semi-transparent would fix the issue, but I guess if it wasn't changed since launch, it won't be changed anytime soon. In some previous episodes, I mentioned that it is a rarity to see skins changing the appearance of the ultimate ability, and luckily for this guy, the wolf skins change the dragons into something even worse. Fairies. I really like this single touch, and I wish it had been done more often. Other skins are either very boring, going for some traditional look, and others are Hanzo but in different clothes, so once again cheap boring stuff. Like, some skins can be good, but is this really the peak design we can get for this character?
If you don't hit anything, or if you don't hit anything...
Now we are getting to the ultimate children magnet. The gameplay of Hanzo is quite simple. You charge your bow and let go to shoot singular arrows that can, but don't have to, headshot. I suspect that this random chance is something alongside CSGO gambling websites where children get addicted to spending money infinitely and end up losing it all. But instead, they shoot arrows and miss most of the times, but hit that sweet headshot from time to time, justifying playing this absolute boring hero. Personally speaking, I never played Hanzo before, and by making this review, I finally got to play him for a long enough time to understand how it feels to play this garbage. And it feels just like jumping out of the first floor through the window constantly, but sometimes you do a cool backflip and land on your legs instead of falling straight on your face. It has happened way too many times that I simply couldn't deal with a flanking hero because I just miss all the time. The damage potential might be huge, but under the condition you are hitting those shots in the first place. It's not super effective to play like a sniper long range because people have time to dodge your arrows, and it's not super effective to play close range either because you must take time to charge up your shot to actually deal lethal damage. Even medium range isn't optimal because when people notice you, they will start moving unpredictably to make your life miserable, and that's why I finally understand what is so appealing in this character. It's not skill, it's not the design, it's not even the story. It is purely Dungeons and Dragons, baby. Oh yeah, RPG time, Baldur's Gate 3, let's go. Time to roll dice and see if this time I will survive a dive from the enemy tank or not. Oh, would you look at that? Eat that, fat creature. I rolled high numbers this time. Okay, new encounter. 2 enemies. I have to roll that d20. Okay, high numbers, let's go, let's go. Yes! Perfect! Now I can out of nowhere output over 500 damage just in 2 shots because the dice said so. Basically, every match is, in my opinion, pure luck. The only part that requires skill is to not forget to aim slightly higher than usual when firing, and there you go! You are now a God Hanzo player. Also, Sonic Arrows are very useful to maybe get some sneaky shots in and overall provide info to your team, and the ultimate ability that is purely a zoning tool. You should try your best to disorganize the enemies, separating the tanks from their supports, or forcing the enemies to push in. If they decide to stay in one spot or go through the more punishing side, then they will simply perish. Also, may I just add that Hanzo duels are just hilarious to me. Whoever rolls that sweet 21st wins. Am I right, Hanzo mains? Conclusion! I will most likely never play this hero again. If I want to play a long-range sniper character, I will play Widowmaker. And if I want to have fun with projectiles, I whip out my absolute maniac from the basement Junkrat. It's understandable why mainly children play this character, because he's simply annoying. Getting one-tapped in the head is apparently hilarious in video games and very fun to play against. And kids love to be heavily rewarded by putting bare minimum work in. Most of the times I felt useless to my team, especially when I was hitting only body shots at the beginning, with all of my damage done being instantly healed by the enemy supports, and that's exactly why Hanzo is only effective when hitting those sweet dings. I wanted to give Hanzo an okay score, but since his nipple is being censored now, he will end up with a score of 1 dragon fruit out of 14 kiwis. I am very glad I don't have to touch this hero ever again, because he's simply not as fun in my opinion as other damage heroes like Bastion or even his ADHD brother Genji, so at least my sanity can rest now. As always, don't forget that you can let me know down in the comments what hero would you like me to review next, and make sure to check out the playlist in the description to watch the rest of the episodes in the series if you enjoyed this one, about your favorite hero. And as an outro, I know only the real OGs stick till the end, so I would like to openly apologize to everyone that felt disgusted by my last tier list video, and I recommend growing some Zenyatta orbs next time. I'm still in the experimental phase of making content that is soon concluding, so if you honestly prefer the hero review episodes over wonderful tier lists, then make sure to share the episodes around so I know they are more worth to make than pure art. Thank you so much for watching, have a lovely day, bye bye.